Throughout the scriptures, things repeat themselves. So in the reading Ezekiel 9, Daddy had men dressed in white linens go around and mark the foreheads of the people that were repenting of the sins of their people, and they were spared, but everybody else was killed. So in the book of Revelation 9, these are the punishing angels because Daddy has punishing angels. So in the Gregorian calendar, this is the Great Reset, the Apocalypse. That was Daddy's creative calendar. That would make it 2012, and the Gregorian calendar was 2019. That's why everything started then, because everything dissolved. Because we're in America, which is a corporation, which means corpse nation. Corpse means the dead nations because we're in the land of the dead, and Daddy's going to take us and gather us and take us to the land of the living. So who was the one that gave us the vaccine, the poison cup? Was Fauci, connecting people to these AI machines, because that's the AI smart cities. That's what's going to happen. So in the Revelation 9, they're not supposed to get the mark and seal, to go after the mark and sealed ones, right? And everybody else, they are. And the locust is actually Donald Trump's space force that he put together. These are your Greys, your Anunnakis, your Dracos. That's who they are. So after the restrainer leaves, I'm pretty sure that these things will come out in the open. He's kind of teasing everybody right now with these Nordic looking beings around here, and they're trying to tell you because they're going to start to show them soon. So these is who they are. This is a space force, and you should know by now that these are your punishing angels. These are the fallen angels. They're here. They're the ones behind the ice wall. Ice, funny because they're the ones grabbing the gem, the red nations. So America as we know it doesn't exist anymore. It is solved. They know that. So that's why they had the vaccine ready by 2020. And that is just part of the agenda that they're having. It's called dark transhumanism agenda, which make you now transhuman. You're not no more of the creator. You're not of the soil, original creation of Yahuwah. Now you're mixed with metal. And that's why they want it, because now you're part of the machine. And if you're part of the machine, you have an owner, because all these vaccines have a patent number. And a patent number, that means there's an owner to these patent numbers and these vaccines, unfortunately.
You saw it, and if you haven't seen it, you must. We are going to talk about earthquakes and planetary alignments. This time, the earthquakes hit Colombia. The easiest way to substitute, change, or eliminate a system and replace it with another is to destroy it, to remove it completely. And that is what is happening with the analog system, as we are now building everything into a digital system. And that is what is happening. The analog system of the cities is being eliminated by sectors to implement the new digital system format, and they are doing it by sectors. This time it was Colombia's turn. If you look closely, it is literally the areas where the buildings are and the cities that are collapsing. All these places that are going through natural disasters will eventually be rebuilt with 6G technology. We are literally welcoming the modern 15-minute cities with advanced technology, with all these types of natural events that are happening around the world, whether it be earthquakes, fires, tidal waves, whatever. There is literally a mental cognitive game behind all these events, the dates, the numbers, and everything related, as if they were channeling and manipulating energies through dates, planets, and alignments. They concentrate those energies, displace them, and spread them to specific points that they need. Everything goes hand in hand to displace and replace old cities with modern digital 6G cities. It is a jump from analog signals to digital signals. With the psychology of progress they have, they are going to lull people into a false sense of security, saying that it is a benefit. By making Latin America just like the United States, with cameras and digital 6G technology everywhere. Let's take a look at the earthquake. It is enough to watch the videos to realize that what is happening is not normal, and the videos do not look very natural either. It looks as if they were shaking the supports, the legs of a table, and the top part was moving, things falling and breaking. One cannot explain or use the words one wants 100%. Because they have already restricted 4 of my accounts on TikTok and given me warnings on other social networks. Literally, with artificial intelligence, they are manipulating everything so that one no longer knows what is real and what is fictitious. One no longer knows what or whom to trust, which news is real, which disasters are real, or which people are real.
Access denied. Only on Planetara.
Radical Islam has designs openly on the West.
The FBI thwarted a terror plot on violent attack over the weekend in Michigan.
Protests on college campuses showing no signs of stopping.
Some stuffed toy listings on Vinted included descriptions with children's ages, gender, height, and clothing sizes, leading people to suspect possible child trafficking. The concern started after users noticed plush toys and dolls being listed with strange details that did not look like normal product descriptions. Some posts described items with words such as female, centimeters, age numbers, and clothing size terms.
So there's several battles. So right now, the world is being destroyed with earthquakes and fires because of these smart cities that are coming, the data centers and all that. But the earthquakes are hitting Shem a lot. the territory that belongs to Shem. Like it hit Venezuela the other day, and then the kids were missing. Now it hit Colombia. There are fires in Canada. No surprise to me, Mexico was one of the places they went over there to give relief, because the Mexican president is a Khazar, working for the Khazar Jews, Khazar Mafia, along with China and Russia. That's why you see a lot of ICE agents are Mexican. And they're going to go over there again to grab the people and the children. And they do organ trafficking, children trafficking. And they say when they take the children into the hospitals, they change their names so you won't be able to see your children or get a hold of your children. So work as a nation together, because the church is on it, the governments of the world are in on it. So be smart like serpents, okay, guys? And try to help each other out, because this is what it is. Because the territory that was given to Shem is in the Americas. And this is a battle going back all the way from the beginning of the scriptures, the Canaanites and the children of Adam, the sons of men. Also, the battle of Esau and Jacob, where Esau ends this world, Jacob starts a new world, and they just want to make sure that because the meek shall inherit the earth, they want to make sure that we do not inherit the earth. They want to make sure that they kill Jacob altogether, which is not going to happen. There's a remnant that is marked and sealed, and Daddy's coming to grab us and take us back. And he's coming to take us where? To the land of the living, because we're living in a corporation which is a corpse nation. This is where we are. That's why America is a corpse nation, because when they took over it, and they made it into a corporation, because we're in the living, in the land of the dead. So Daddy's going to take us in the land, to the land of the living. And the cops are in on it. The police department, along with the militaries, they're in on it. Because, you know, the book, if you're familiar with the book, The Hunting, The Most Dangerous Game, that's what they're doing. They have been doing this from the beginning of time. So again, just be smart about it, guys. I will be sharing this guy's video, and he's talking about a conversation he had with a cop. And he says how America is Morocco, and America is a corporation. You guys gotta understand that America is the old country. There were a lot of different nations here, and we were among different nations. His children were among different nations here. So it was just not his children. So, and you also have to understand that Ishmael, the son of Hagar and Abraham, became the Arab nations, and they joined with the Vatican, with Rome, to hunt our people down. So the Antichrist that will be taking over this system is going to be a Muslim, which is Obama. And that's what Sharia law is coming, because now the dragons are being switched. So now it's going to be Peter has to kill his church, so he's going to send the Muslims to kill the Christians. So we have no dog in this fight, because Daddy's coming for his children. He's going to take us to the land of the living. So everybody that serves the God of the dead, this is what's going to happen.
So y'all, I'm talking with the cop, and he was saying, well, first he was talking to his partner. He was like, I need some hollow points. And I looked over at him, and he was like, yeah, I need some hollow points. I was like, nah, man, you don't need no hollow points. Let them live, let them live. And he was like, nah, what I'm talking about is for bear hunting. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, yeah, a hollow point to put a hole in somebody. And he was like, yeah, I do a lot of exotic hunting. And I was like, okay, what else you hunt? He was like, I used to hunt people. And I was like, I thought he was joking at first, but the whole time he is not smiling. He was like, yeah, I used to hunt people. He was like, we let them loose. And I think he said 1,000 acres. 1,000-acre field or whatever, give them 24 hours and go find them, go hunt them down. And he was like, what you got to understand is what's legal and what's law is not the same thing. He was like, you got to go do your research on that. And I, pushed the conversation past that. But this is a cop telling me this. I was like, and he was not playing at all. And he was like, do you know where you live? I was like, yeah, we in Texas, we in America. He was like, no, this is Morocco. America's the corporation. So he was like, what's legal and what's law is two different things. You ain't in America. America's just the corporation. And he was like, you need to go do your research on that too. And I was telling him how I was attacked by a cop on Juneteenth. And he was like, yeah, you could sue him. He was completely in the wrong once I told him and showed him that video. But yeah, he was saying, around here it's very corrupt, very the police is very protected by lawyers, by the hospitals, right? So if they shoot you or whatever and you go to the hospital and die, the hospital gonna say that your cause of death wasn't because you got shot, right? They gonna say whatever they need to protect the cop. And I was like, nah, trust me, I seen that. Like, they was making it hard just for me to make a police report. But man, I was like, man, let me get off here. I could catch a bus from here. That dude was crazy. And he is a cop.
Everyone say your favorite food. Go!
Soy sauce, wax lips,
plain white rice,
fried green tomatoes.
Favorite lovemaking position. Go!
The fried green tomato.
the peck and roll,
The broken sprinkler.
chitty chitty bang bang,
the sticky wicket.
No. Getting people to say their favorite things isn't gonna work.
Sure it is. If you like the same food or sex angles, you're compatible.
I do the exact opposite. I'd make everyone say the worst thing about themselves, the most embarrassing, darkest secret. If the other person can stomach you for another second, then maybe you have a chance together. Maybe.
What? That is the least romantic.
I want to do it.
Let's do it.
I'm game.
No.
I'll go first. Hi there. I'm part of a secret society. We hunt men for sport.
So let's look at a timeline. So the old system died in 2019, Creators Calendar is 2012. That's when Biden opened up the borders and suddenly 500,000 of our children went missing. What happened to the parents? They did the same thing in Hawaii when they set the place on fire. The children went missing because those are tribal brothers and sisters. What happened to the parents? They do it to the Philippines constantly because they are tribal brothers as well. So right here, you see the police officer, the border police. Doesn't he look like the same agents as the ICE agents, dressed the same way? So in 2025, that is where the Pope, the Vatican, and the Rothschilds, same people because the Rothschilds run the Vatican, sent out troops to where? Haiti, Santo Domingo, and Colombia. They say because of gang violence. So this took place in 2025. So that means they're there. The Qassam Mafia are in our lands already. How interesting, because now all these earthquakes are taking place and all these disasters are taking place. The military, the pedophile ring, the human trafficking ring happens to be there. And they're also working with Mexico because the Mexican president is a Khazar Jew. So every time something happens, like the Canada fire the other day, they're there. Venezuela, they're there. Colombia, they're there. They're on the way to Cuba, they're there. And a lot of the ICE agents happen to be Mexican. That's why they cover their faces with sunglasses and they cover their mouths so that you would not know that they're the Mexican military. So just because they look Mexican, they're not on our side. They're part of this ring. And Puerto Rico and Cuba were actually brothers. That's why our flags mirror each other. And what they're doing to Cuba, they're going to do to Puerto Rico. Because you know how they killed off Fidel Castro? Castro is a Duke of Castro, for Isu calls his sons the Dukes. They killed them off and suddenly Trump says, oh, we're going to take over Cuba. This is recolonization of our people again. This is what it is, repeating history again. So they had a blackout, water shortage, and now Mexico is there to the rescue. So Puerto Rico, water shortage, soon apagón, blackout is going to come. They're going to hit our islands too, so people wake up. They did the same thing with Venezuela, right? The Venezuela president, the so-called Venezuela president, oh, we're going to arrest him, but even though he is part of the Brotherhood, and now Trump says we're going to take over Venezuela, same people. So you see the timeline? They're hitting all the territories, all the way from Canada, the Americas, and the islands. They're there, and like I said, Biden united everything into one. Canada and the Americas into one. He signed the Declaration of North America. He united into one. This is a new system. There's in place. They're just not telling people. That's why Trump has the jurisdiction to get people in Canada, grab them, and arrest them. And he's sending people to throughout the world, even to Africa. He has our tribal brothers in Africa. Why is that? And they're going out to the Americas and hunt the people down in America. They're sending bounty hunters into America, to the South America and Central America. Why is that? Because everything is already connected into one. This is in the scriptures when they said that Jacob will have troubles and that the dragon will go after the remnants because we are the rightful owners of this lands. So people wake up.
Planet. Hidden controllers of the planet are the ancient Iranian bloodlines from Central Asia who have ruled the world since the First World Empire. And it's the same people. They were the popes of Rome. They built the Etruscan Empire. They razed that, which was in Italy. Then they built the Roman Empire and razed that. Then they built the Habsburg Empire. And they're based mostly in Italy, because they created Italy, but it's still the same kings and queens bloodlines mostly on the thrones of Europe. But they work for the ruling elites, the Jesuit organization. This is not a Catholic organization. These are not religious people. They're atheists. It's a military organization set up by the Farnese family, by Pope Paul III before he became Pope. And the Villa Farnese, which is the model for the Pentagon, he built in the shape of, or the style of, ancient Central Asian fortified structures. And he built the Villa Farnese after he created the Jesuits, or around the same time. And he built it as the headquarters for the war rooms of the Farneses. Hidden control. Castro is pure Iranian ancient bloodline, and he's directly descended from Pope Paul III. He is from the papal nobility family, and he's from the Dukes of Castro. And Pope Paul III had 3 sons, and he gave each of them a dukedom. The Duke of Castro, the Duke of Piacenza, which is a city in northern Italy. That's where Castro's father was born.
And you've done the genealogies.
Absolutely.
So far, these people have been very good in veiling the truth and hiding it, because the Rockefellers own the University of Chicago. The Russell Trust runs Yale University. All these bloodlines control information, scholarship, and every single aspect, and sciences, of course, almost every single aspect of our lives that shape our world.
And if you go back some more into the Bible, you will also find mention of a global genocide. And so this is basically the Jesuit embrace, enfold, extinguish. It's the secret history of the Jesuits.
They took me with that bag they tied my feet and hands to when they broke my finger from here. From here, they broke my hand.
That bag Juan Antonio Pineda is referring to is the RAP, a restraint system used by law enforcement throughout the country.
The RAP is meant to stop a fight, to eliminate the strikes and blows, to make somebody sit comfortably, again, reasonably comfortable, right? It's not a comfortable situation.
But about a dozen people have told the Associated Press that immigration and customs enforcement officers had used it on them or their loved ones, simply for crying or verbally objecting to their deportation.
I wouldn't say that that's ICE's overall policy. I don't think that's, because if it was anybody's policy, I'd have a hard time working with that organization, right? Because that's not the purpose of the RAP.
In response to an AP query, Assistant Homeland Security Secretary Tricia McLaughlin wrote, "The use of restraints on detainees during deportation flights has been long-standing standard ICE protocol and an essential measure to ensure the safety and well-being of both detainees and the officers' agents accompanying them." An internal watchdog report raised red flags, in part because of concerns about reports of deaths involving the use of the RAP by police. The AP has identified a dozen fatal cases in the last decade where local police or jailers around the United States used the RAP, and autopsies determined that restraint had played a role in the death. But the makers of the RAP say there have been no deaths when deployed properly, and they made modifications for the device used by ICE.
We created a metal loop in the front so that persons can be handcuffed to the front. And I can sit here like this. It's almost like I'm folding my hands, listening to a speech or, watching something on TV.
Pineda, the El Salvadoran man who said he was in the country legally, says ICE officers kept him in the RAP for over 16 hours during 2 round trips to the Mexican border.
Know about DHS seeking to hire bounty hunters to go into Latin America and find people who have been deported and make them pay their fines that the Trump administration put on them. Using an obscure law from 1996, Clinton's administration, the Trump administration has been charging people who are in the US without authorization $998 a day. And some people have gotten these notices saying that they owe the US government over $1.8 million. However, the US government said that if they just self-deport, that these fees would be waived. Well, now they're saying that these fees would only be waived if the person self-deported using the CBP Home app, and that anyone who did not use the CBP Home app may remain subject to previously assessed fines or penalties, and that even if they use the app, it does not waive the $5,130 fee Congress created last year for people ordered removed in absentia. So now DHS wants to hire bounty hunters to go into Mexico, Honduras, Guatemala, and possibly other Latin American countries to find those people and make them pay their fines. DHS has been trying to reach the nearly 70,000 people who still owe fines through letters and phone calls, but they have not been able to locate anyone that way. DHS is not giving any guidelines as to how people who own fines are supposed to be found, but are asking bidders to supply their own. Some of the things the bounty hunters can show as proof that they found the person is photograph of the home, also utility bills, employment files, court documents, or if the person has died, a death certificate. Also, there will be bonuses depending on how fast the bounty hunters provide information within 7, 14, or 28 days. There's still no word from Mexico's, Honduras, or Guatemala's government about bounty hunters going into their countries and trying to find their citizens. There is also no word on how are they going to force these people to pay these fines. Reports are saying that this is a scare tactic to make sure that those people never try to come to the US or stop other people from ever wanting to come to the US if they see what's going to happen to them. This is such a waste of money hunting down people for these fines, people who were most likely already going through the immigration system or had a pending status, but were still hit with these ridiculous fines as a way to scare them to self-deport. And even when they did everything they were supposed to, they were doing everything they were supposed to from the beginning, the nightmare is still not over. Now the US government plans to hunt them down in their own home countries. So far, I have only seen this reported by Wired magazine, so please share this news so more people know what's going on.
Noticia de última hora, llega la ayuda humanitaria para nuestros hermanos cubanos. México ha sido el primer país que le ha mandado ayuda a ese país. Es muy triste ver cómo es que viven atrapados en esa isla. ¿Qué opinan ustedes sobre lo que acaba de hacer México?
Noticia de último minuto, un poderoso terremoto de magnitud 7.4 ha azotado el oeste de Colombia este lunes, sacudiendo la nación sudamericana y al vecino Ecuador. Como pueden ver en las imágenes, muchas estructuras han sido dañadas y creó el pánico en la población local. El epicentro estaba localizado en San José del Palmar, un municipio en la región de Choco, a unas 250 millas al oeste de la capital colombiana, Bogotá. El Servicio Geológico de los Estados Unidos y su contraparte colombiana han informado que este terremoto golpeó a una profundidad de 66 millas. Los dejo aquí con algunas de las imágenes que vienen llegando desde ambos países.
Esto ocurrió en el centro de Manizales. Al parecer hay personas atrapadas aquí debajo y por eso la comunidad intenta rescatarlas y buscarlas. A esta hora estamos justamente en el centro de Manizales, donde tembló hace poco.
Así está Quito estos momentos. Se nos habla de muchas personas atrapadas en este edificio. Era de 4 pisos y se vino abajo.
You all know that I've always felt the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
Missing Venezuelan children, the earthquake is not over. The most dangerous part is just now beginning. Exact same trafficking operation that they did in Haiti to send kids to Epstein Island is being done right now in Venezuela. The app being used to traffic these children is called Vented. Here's one of the posts. It says, rescued Venezuelan plushie from the earthquake, 3,800 euros. After the earthquake, posts like these are all over the websites. 3 years old. Use DM for measurements. Like I said before, the same trafficking operation that the Clinton Foundation did in Haiti, they're now trying to do in Venezuela.
According to UNICEF, 3.9 million children live in the areas the earthquake hit. In the chaos, thousands have already been separated from their families, and these separated kids are at risk of being taken and exploited unless they are found and reunited with family members fast. I've already been getting videos in the dead of night about this because there is a known trafficking ring in Venezuela.
Hermanos, si tienen familiares que tenían niños allá en La Guaira, lo más recomendable que yo les digo ahorita, vayan para allá, porque si sus familiares y sus hijos quedaron a la intemperie, hermano, Mr. Pizza, yo no puedo hablar mucho de esto porque esto es algo de la él a nivel mundial, puedan a uno por hablar de estas cosas, pero aquí en Venezuela está operando eso y tienen que cuidar los peluches porque Mr. Pizza se lo puede. Entonces están robándose los peluches para venderlos, hermano. Así que